Well, I started my business because I was very unhappy with my previous profession. You know, I had gone to college and got a degree in business and went the IT route and that sort of thing. And corporate America just wasn't fulfilling to me in the same way that some of my hobbies have been. And I've always loved dogs.
Were you in a field that was completely 360 from what you're doing right now?
Absolutely.
Yes. Do you want to touch on what you did before?
Well, I was in the IT field. I worked for a major telecom company, both my husband and I, and so I did that for about 5 years, web development, software development, that sort of thing. And I decided to leave all that behind and pursue a passion of working with dogs and owning my own business. And so I did, and I wanted to become a dog trainer. And so I've slowly worked that route in order to be able to have my own facility and work with dogs. I went ahead and started the business, and initially just offered pet sitting, and I was the only employee. And,
you must have did a lot.
I did a lot of pet sitting, yes, and I did it on the side. You know, I did that part-time while I was still in my corporate job. And when I finally decided to go full force ahead with the business, that's when I launched Midday Dog Walking. And the second and third years of our business were primarily home-based, out of my home, and Midday Dog Walking, I acquired like 30 employees, and it was a fairly large business, and then decided it was time to open the daycare, and it was time for me to start teaching my classes at my own facility as opposed to another facility that I was working at. Staff has grown. It's fairly large. We're up to 49 employees.
Amazing.
We have now about 38 part-time pet sitters and dog walkers. And that's servicing all of Northern Virginia, and we just launched in DC as well.
Great.
So they're the ones that go into the clients' homes and care for the pets. We then have a staff of 5 managers, full-time staff, and 6 daycare attendants. And I wanted to have a place where the owners could come in separate from and yet still observe what is going on in the back in the daycare area, so they can watch their dogs play. But the dogs are very smart. They tend to pick up on when somebody is looking through the windows. So then they start barking because they're like, "Whoa, someone's here." The great thing about our facility is the whole play area can be separated into smaller play groups. So we have removable fencing, and so if we need to separate out small dogs from large dogs, or dogs based on temperament, you've got your slow dogs and you got your fast bouncy dogs.
Right.
We have the ability to do that. Daycare isn't for every dog, but we have the owners schedule a time to come in where we'll do an evaluation on the dog. There's paperwork involved, but we like to test the temperament of the dog in terms of handling. Are they going to be comfortable with strangers? Are they going to be comfortable being grabbed around the collar or touched on the feet? Or do we have a nipping dog that's not going to approve of that? That's very important for my staff to know.
Yeah, definitely.
But in addition to that, we then segregate out a small amount of dogs that are there for the day, and we use those to interact with the new dog to see how they get along and see what the dog's play style is like, who he would play well with, who might not play well with, what are his concerns. Most dogs that come into daycare, though, are very comfortable walking into a group of dogs, not knowing them, and immediately we'll hit it off. But we've had to turn some away that were either too fearful of the setting, that they may perhaps jump the fence to get out, and so for security reasons it wasn't a great setting for that type of dog. We've had some wonderful stories too, as far as some of the daycare dogs that we get.
Do you have some dogs that are like best buddies that just love to see each other every day?
Absolutely. And I take Hunter with me to daycare every day that I'm there, and he makes friends, and they know each other, they get to know each other, and they tend to stick to one another. We have a do-it-yourself pet bath where owners can come and actually give their dogs a bath themselves.
Like those car washes? Where you?
Yes, absolutely. If they don't want to get their tub dirty, it's a great place. Come use ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better than hosing them down in the backyard, too.
Well, and you can't do that in the wintertime, so
no, you can't.
that's
you can't.
That's the other advantage. I really like to promote dog training products that are going to provide some kind of outlet to dogs, things that will help solve or deter some behavioral issues. So I like to sell things that I recommend for my training students.
For example?
For example, Buster Cubes.
Okay.
Kongs. Things that are intellectually stimulating for the dog, that will keep them out of trouble and focused and redirected their behaviors onto something more appropriate. So I do like to sell those, as well as good, tough, strong, daycare tested toys.
Okay.
That is something that's very hard to come by. And a lot of the toys we will try out in our daycare to see how long they last.
Okay.
And if they can last a month or 2 months or 3, that's great.
I can imagine, because I've seen the stuff that they've got in the pet stores, and I wouldn't want to be spending, you know, $5, $6, $7, $10 for something that's going to get chewed up, or the squeaky dies in a week or so.
Oh, those wouldn't last an hour in the daycare.
No, I bet that they wouldn't.
No. I like to really focus more on the pet owner, because I think it's educating the pet owner on what their dog is, what's appropriate behavior, what's not appropriate behavior. And a lot of the common issues are jumping and barking and you know, not getting along with other dogs or being afraid of strangers, those kinds of things. And in a group setting, I like to educate them on, well, here's how we can deter your dog from jumping, or here's how we can get your dog not chewing your couch and chewing its Kong, you know. So it's more of a group setting, and those are taught in the evening. Come. You want to sit? Good. Okay. Was it pretty? Oh, that's a good boy. And he'll hold it until I click. Click indicating the end of the exercise. So that's one of the tricks that we'll learn in our fun tricks class.
And you give a treat as a reward every
time. I give a treat as a reward, right. Always click treat. Never click without the treat. Back up. Bow. Good job. What else? You want to spin? Good job.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, good job.
Do it again.
That's his favorite. Come on. He's been doing that since he was 12 weeks. Hunter.
Oh, no.
Good job.
Very cool.
Good boy.
Very cool.